swimming hole. Do you call it that? We call it swimming hall, which is swimming hole.
It's not what we call it, but we understand the words.
The swimming hole. I've heard that, haven't I?
Have you?
What do you call it? A place that's only
he
for
watches
swimming?
black and white movies. You can't take it. I heard that somewhere. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
in like Birdmore movie.
It was
You're right.
1923. Called the
It's not
swimming
that
hole,
bad.
and it was in black and white.
It's not
and
that bad. No, a swimming hole is it's what you call it.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's not really the pool, right? It's it's.
No, we just kind of call it the pool. And
It's
then
like
you
a
specify whether you're
clean
doing
dirt pond.
laps or are you just playing around because it's summer.
It's not the lagoon, but it's the there might be a waterfall. Maybe there's like a little brook. It's got some moving water, so it's not just stank. But there can be leeches there sometimes.
At a swimming hall?
Swimming hole. HOLE.
Oh,
hole.
Hole.
Okay.
I've been going to the swimming hole, not hole. And we lost Justin.
Made the mistake of hitting the back button?
No, I didn't. I was just sitting here with my hands to myself, and not like that, and and then it just went. So
I've been going for about a month now, and I've gone from swimming. Let me just do the conversion. We won't get meters.
He's gone from the swimming centimeters to swimming meters.
I swam 0.3 mile in 30 minutes, and now I'm at just under half a mile in 30 minutes in a month. Nice. So that's pretty good. I want to get to 1 kilometer, which would be how much in miles? 0.62 miles.
For a country surrounded by as much water as you have, like, swimming's a good skill to have. So,
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I do live probably the last place that has to worry about in my country or close to it. I live in the dead center of the island.
Right.
Yeah. Also, welcome to while we weren't recording. I see we're live. I didn't notice that. Today we're doing a no topic, I think, or are we doing Frankenstein?
Potentially both. I don't know. We're very indecisive this week. We had too many options and no one really put a stake and said, like, this is what we're doing.
Here's one for you. This is called a layup. So Ben has labeled himself as a man of action. Ben, what are we doing today for our topic?
No topic at all.
There you go.
I'll get to action tomorrow.
Okay.
The man of action tomorrow.
I did watch Frankenstein.
You got it now.
It was fantastic. So that's
great
about
movie.
It. Yeah.
The pacing felt mostly great. There was some points.
He says we're doing a no topic, and then you immediately start talking about the movie that he decides that we're not talking about.
All I said is people should go watch it. So blame Andreas.
Okay, so 2 weeks from now, then because EG can join us because he also wanted to do it, which was another reason why it was just indecisive and blah.
But I've forgotten in 2 weeks. Okay,
so watch it again. Like that's a problem.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I
don't wanna.
Get the wife to watch it in 2 weeks.
So. Me.
Yeah.
Good direct.
Don't watch it with your kids if you're remotely concerned about what they consume. Don't watch it with your kids. That's my plug.
It's by the guy who made Pan's Labyrinth and the guy who did Lady in the Water, The Shape of Water. It's that bestiality movie.
And it's a bestiality.
What an Oscar!
I mean, also Hellboy.
That's true. Hellboy.
The Strain.
He's actually very, very. He's one of those directors I could legitimately say, yes, visionary. That's an appropriate name for that.
He has a theme, or a style. It's almost like in the way that you can look at something and notice it's from Tim Burton. Like you can do the same thing.
But I think Tim Burton is kind of like Guillermo del Toro is a little bit even weirder, creepier, and more colorful and more satisfying. It's more coherent. I think Tim Burton is very inconsistent in terms of execution, whereas Guillermo del Toro is just phenomenal. So yeah.
You said that almost like you were pitting them against each other, but then you complimented them both, I feel like. So
No, I love that. There was a time when I would watch every single Tim Burton movie when it came out, no matter what, in theaters, sight unseen, even Planet of the Apes. But then I saw Alice in Wonderland, and I said, you know what? I guess I'm just not a Tim Burton fan anymore. And I haven't seen anything he's directed ever since.
I think our society needs to give room for the fact that just because you've criticized somebody on one project doesn't make you not a fan.
Yeah. Hang on. I agree with that. When I say that was just more like the threshold for me, because I had already think about the movies I'd seen. I'd seen Big Fish, which is great, right? But I also saw Corpse Bride, which was kind of mid, right?
Big Fish was Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, phenomenal, great stuff.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I love that.
But you notice that shift right there is huge, and then. Like the last couple ones I saw were like, oh, this is no Big Fish. I kind of want Big Fish.
Well, I mean,
so it had been declining for some time, and then of course apparently the latest Dumbo movie is kind of in that kind of dregs category, a 2-hour bloated film about
an elephant.
The last movie I've seen from Tim Burton, I loved. That's also the one I loved. That was Sweeney Todd. I think that's a great movie.
See, that was pretty good.
It's been a minute.
I saw that with my sister. It was pretty traumatic.
I've seen none of the ones after though. I thought he didn't. I was like, has he made stuff?
Yes,
and he has.
Yeah. So Sweeney Todd came out 18 years ago. It is now old enough to vote. For those of you who don't feel old today, so
has it really? Wow.
It has been a long time. Yeah.
2007.
I know. I was like, you haven't seen any Tim Burton for 18 years. Nope. You missed a couple,
Alice in Wonderland, I didn't watch. Dark Shadows, didn't watch. Wait, no, I did watch Dark Shadows. So that's the last one I watched. Not as good as Sweeney Todd. Not even close. And all the others I have not seen. Looking at this list.
So you didn't watch Beetlejuice 2?
No, I haven't seen Beetlejuice.
I did hear Beetlejuice 2 was a return to form. I've been meaning to watch it.
I mean, it was very Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Actually, I think I actually saw the first 20 minutes on the plane, then the internet cut out. So maybe I should go back and watch it. I was enjoying it, actually.
Even Alice was 8 years ago, so it's not like he's done a ton, I guess, since then. But yeah, I haven't seen that one. So, or Captain Sparky versus the Flying Saucers.
What?
Yeah, I guess these are things he produced. Let's go back to the stuff he directed and shit.
I was the same way about Pixar for a while too, actually. And then I just, for some reason, everyone loves Toy Story 3, but I just could not do Toy Story 3. It was just not enjoyable to me.
There's more than one Toy Story?
Yeah, there's 4. There's going to be a 5th. And every time
I am being facetious here. I have only seen the first one when I was a kid, but I know there are more.
No, I'm just making a mental note here that every month we need to check under the rock that Andreas lives just to make sure that he's like, hey, buddies, it's been 20 years since this thing happened. Maybe you should look into it,
Oh.
So, yeah.
But
just so we're clear, 20 years is the threshold in which our history falls out of current events and can start talking about things in the history subreddit. That's how fucking old it is, just for another measuring stick.
I mean, yeah, it can vote. It can almost drink.
Right. It could drink if it's in the army.
But you can drink before you can vote.
No.
Not in our country.
Depending on the state, which is
in my country. What's the joke? You can.
Yeah. We know, but it's not funny.
In Soviet Denmark,
already the joke.
In Soviet Denmark, alcohol drink you.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yakov Smirnoff has made his way across the pond officially.
Yeah. Far better to be drunk than eaten, I think, right? So, Master Ferris?
Yeah.
Oh.
No?
Is that my name still? I thought I put my real name. Yes.
Aeronauts Winless? Yeah.
It's a really great time Benjamin's cam froze, by the way.
Yeah.
I know. I've been meaning to ask for 5 minutes. I'm like, did he freeze with the
oh no, I'm here. I'm here.
But your camera isn't. Your camera is stuck.
Your camera's frozen and you holding up your
hands. Oh wow, that's a great pose, to be fair.
Yes.
That's a great pose. I'm just gonna keep that. That's exactly how I look when I'm doing the creepy hand monster with the eyes.
Yeah.
In Pan's Labyrinth. Now there's a great movie. The best double feature I ever saw in my life. Impromptu double feature. I saw Children of Men and Pan's Labyrinth same day in January of 2008, 2009, whatever it was.
That's depressing.
Those are
two good movies, but
bleak, yes.
How did were you emotionally okay afterwards?
Did you live?
Pan's Labyrinth was a little heartbreaking, but Children of
Men really brought the mood up a bit.
Yeah,
Children of Men is a happy ending. It was devastating, and he just lets it linger, and then bam! Oh, finally, good.
I mean, the girl lives in Children of Men, sure, but that's not a happy ending. If this is me talking, like that's the lot in a day.
I felt like his life meant something now, right? And that was the whole point. He was not even. I just love that movie so much.
I mean, fair enough. I don't want to take that. Just like
no. And I get why downer ending. He's a perspective character, but I think his emotional turmoil at the beginning, he's just feeling nothing. And I guess for a long time in my life, I identified a lot with that, where I just felt like I was doing nothing, meaning nothing, nothing was happening in my life, and everything was just kind of pointless, right, and empty. And then he had the same feeling at the very beginning, like he did not care at all. Oh, I feel so bad about little Pedro, whatever his name was, who died.
He didn't give a shit. Yeah,
he didn't care at all, right? But he lied about it. He's just trying to get out of work.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Whatever. I'm checked out.
Absolutely.
But then he finds something to care about.
International holiday now, so.
Yeah, but yeah, it changed his life, right? And then he dies, making sure everything's taken care of. And I don't know. It's that. So
he finds purpose and then dies.
And honestly,
yes,
what more can you
this
expect?
is warrior ethos, guys, right? Yeah, this is very ancient, like, the Greek, the Japanese, like this would
masculine lizard brain,
be a heroic story, right? So I'm with Ben there. I'm just tickled at the idea of like Ben and the guy who put together this double feature being the only two people on the planet that were like,
it wasn't really a double feature. I just went to the
movie
theater twice in a day because it was January.
And you were like, oh my god, what an uplifting story.
It wasn't really a double feature, just to be clear.
You paid 2 tickets worth. Jeez, Ben. Change the whole story. So
why not?
I was there. I had nothing to do. There was another movie there I wanted to watch.
Yes, but it's very common to just walk into the theater when you're already there. Like, you paid an entrance fee. Like, I'm not saying you're you did the right thing. You just did the thing that most people don't.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think all those people who did Barbenheimer actually paid for both movies?
Oh. Oh, I see what you mean. I only went theater hopping once in my life, and I didn't realize I was doing it at the time because it was with a friend. I said, "Oh, should we go out and pay for tickets again?" Shut up! Hey, just don't stop talking. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
You're so
it was like
goody two
Scary Movie 4
that you get everybody else caught by accident.
I don't know.
Your theaters are set up differently than ours. I can tell. I think
the tickets are at the front. Once you walk in past the tickets, you're in.
Yeah.
Here it's like there's a lobby. You pay for a ticket. There's a person at the door to all the movie theaters. You go down to your movie, and then when you're done, there's a person at the door seeing where you go when you go out.
That's got to be some of that socialized money that we don't prescribe to, because our movie theater has 5 people and 3 of them are hiding in the back somewhere.
Well, the movie theater makes more money on food, so they might be incentivized of you staying longer, and then you need another bucket of popcorn. So it just kind of
because that's $20.
Turn one blind eye to like what you're doing, just so you stay there. And pay their crazy
movie theaters here mostly also makes money on the concessions, the popcorns, the drinks. Funny enough, they don't check bags and stuff here, at least, so can always sneak in.
I've never had a bag checked at a movie theater,
which is interesting, but I won't bring that up because that's a total topic shift. But okay, like I said, I'm not bringing it up. So anyway, what I was going to say to switch topics from my topic switch, I'll tell you later when you're older. But yeah, I consider myself more chaotic good, but I definitely have lawful tendencies, and so I will break the rules, but you do have to tell me in advance sometimes where it's just like if I catch us in the middle of doing something, I may say something out loud. Now, over time that is softened, with age and wisdom and stuff, but I would definitely be that kid that'd be like, "Wait, why are we sneaking in?" as everybody gets caught and stuff like that.
Wait, weren't we supposed to turn in homework today when the teacher forgot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've actually done that so many times. Not even
I don't know if I've done it a bunch of times and it didn't stick with me, but I'm sure it's there. Now my chaotic good tendency on that side, though, and like I told this story to my coworkers this week, is that for one day where we had like a Monday holiday, my AP physics class was my last class, and I did hatch and succeed at a plan to keep the teacher talking the entire hour and a half period, so we didn't have to do any homework. Now I do grant him that he may have been looking for an excuse and just went along with it, but it was a core memory for me because it backfired for me personally, because he was so caught up in the conversation. I got stuck after class for half an hour with my friends and my girlfriend in my ride being like, "Bro, let's go." And I had a foot out the door and he would not shut up before we were able to finally escape and everything. But yeah, it's a fun story.
Took one for the class.
Yes, I did. So you're all welcome. Nobody remembers me, but you're welcome for that. So,
you have to go back to your high school reunion and just say, "You remember this thing that I did for you?"
Yeah. No, it's funny because it's like last year, I think, was the 20-year reunion. And so it's been on my mind a little bit, but I have realized that it's like, I'm not sure I can remember 5 names, certainly outside of my main friends group. And for the most part, just don't care. I checked in on some of those friends, through social media and just be like, glad you're still alive. But it's like, I had the realization earlier this year that it's like, oh, hey, guess what? We're all about to turn 40 because we're all the same age. These people got their whole families and their careers and just whatever. They have moved on with life, So, and I've never was interested in the whole high school reunion experience. Not once did I go or anything. So
I enjoyed going to high school reunions, though. I thought it was a fun time, but it always takes so long to warm up to it. That was my problem. Is I just sit in the corner with my wife. You're the only one I really know.
You're one of those.
Yeah, yeah. And people have talked to me, and people I feel like I've never seen before in my life. No, I remember you. Okay. I was just
having the kid that made us turn in our homework that day. We'll remember that more than
Yeah, right. No, it's.
I always tell my kids, "Don't be a Ben," and here you are in the flesh. So.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. I just mean for the homework thing, not the whole package, So you're otherwise successful, and many people should be jealous.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I'm not really doing anything with my life that I feel like I need to gloat, but I'm also decently well off, which is plenty for me, So it's like, and if I wanted to keep in touch with those people, it wouldn't be done through a high school reunion.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we do reunions here, actually.
Well, you should get your class president to orchestrate it, because I think that's how it starts here. And then
we don't have
some
class
girls
presidents
who want to be excited about, still being involved in the community. They put stuff together, and yeah. I mean, I feel like the tropes from teenage movies and obviously the 20-somethings that would follow at your 5-year reunion and whatever, I think they pretty much captured it. So yeah, you could just go watch those movies and it'd just be like, yep, that's what it would be, and then move on with life. So
every form of depiction of a high school reunion I can think of, it's always just it is awkward, and you're going back to being your anxious teenage self when everybody was anxious and they hated you for all sorts of different reasons. And if they even remember you, it's like, well, bitch, you stole my boyfriend or bullshit like that. That doesn't matter. But
You stole a lot of
they-
boyfriends, Alex, or
no, God, no. It's just
Yeah.
the people who care, the people who do that, and once you stir up those memories that they have forgotten for 20 years, but now they're in that place again, I cannot imagine it being a good time. I will say though, I went with my dad to his 20-year reunion when I was a kid, and that seemed kind of fun, if a little bit boring. Like, he got together with his friends, and he had kept in touch with his friends for the whole time, and so he had a blast. And I mean, I don't know, it was just a boring dinner in Vegas.
It's so many words to say what I said, but good job. You know, you stretched your writer's legs, I can tell. So, because I was like, just imagine whatever it would be and watch a movie, and it's like that. And then you were like, but let me tell you in detail all the things.
Why? I cannot imagine wanting to go to a high school reunion. I also had a very small high school, and I didn't even show up for the last year, and I can't remember anybody's names.
Right.
And they have probably just entirely forgotten too. So it's just so outside my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a handful of like first names that I can remember, a much smaller subset of last names. Like even my core group, because it's like there was I think it was for lunch. There was a group of us that would like all sit around, in a certain spot, and we just hang out and whatever. And like that was kind of a big deal in like 2002, 2003. And then, like yeah, just most of those guys, like one guy was named Tim. Hope he's doing well,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. It's like, just that. And it's like a couple of the girls can't even remember their names. So just kind of interesting.
A few first names, but like I wouldn't be able to pair those with last names anymore.
Oh, right. Well, and then it's like, oh yeah, and you've got a face in there, but who knows if it's even a manufactured memory at this point, let alone it has been 20 years, so it's like, I don't know how recognizable I would be, let alone, go in the other direction where it's like, dudes, it has been a long time. So
I just had to do math to figure out when I even graduated high school. So
oh, you don't just know the year?
I had to think about it. It was 2013.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that because it was the year I got married. And like I remember that easier, and I just had to like, what the fuck was it? I still have to remember that. Like
I know that's also a problem though, isn't it? Like not knowing what year you got married. So
well, like, I can remember that anchor point better. And then like that's because that would have been like I used that to figure out when I even graduated college. It was like, what year did I leave? Right. It was 3 years after 2013, and so 2016, blah, blah, blah. But like that's an anchor point for me. But
it wasn't just me being obliterated by chronotons because of how old I am. And you're like, so which one of those years was the year you graduated high school? 2016?
I graduated high school 2013.
Okay. That's slightly better, but
and then we started this podcast 2015 when I was in like my middle year at college. Yeah, no, it's been 10 years. How old is your child? Add a year.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
actually,
he's
it's the
about
same
to
year that
turn
he was
10,
born.
So
yeah, it was the same year that he was born.
Yeah. Which is also fun with numbers. So, yeah. Yeah, he's very excited to finally hit his first decade, which I remember that a little bit too. But then that's where the oldness starts, right? Because then you're like, haha, I'm a decade, and isn't that fun? And then you're like, oh, come on, that wasn't that long ago. That was a decade ago.
Yeah.
And then you start meeting kids, that I graduated a decade before you did, and stuff like that, so yeah. And then you start having kids, and you're like, now my kid is a decade old. That's how fucking old I am. So
yeah, it's still so strange just to be like, I remember something happening 25 years ago. They're like, I shouldn't be able to say that number.
Yeah, right.
Whenever we do a no topic now, it just turns into that we're old.
Well, yeah.
Honestly, though, that's fun. I don't know. It's fine. I like talking with you guys. I feel like half the time people, tune into something like this for the parasocial relationship, right? So it's fun. We're just talking about whatever. That's normal. That's what people would talk about for real, rather than some kind of art. Unless we really, really, really do the homework, then we can really get cooking on something. But
I know, right?
If just half-assing it, I'd rather just talk with you.
Frankenstein, Star Trek, or my D&D game today, which is going to have Star Trek inspiration. So, there's that. But
I'd rather talk about Star Wars because I've been really into that lately. Or even better, Stargate's coming back.
Wait, Stargate's coming back? Like
it's coming back, baby.
Elaborate.
Pretty much all the original showrunners and creative people behind it, they've been working on it for 18 months at Amazon, and it should be coming in a year or two.
Okay. They're gonna wheel of time it. They're gonna wheel of time it.
They're not gonna wheel of time it when it's the original creators working on it. It's gonna be great.
Power it.
So you ready for the pessimism here yet? Because the original creators worked on the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, just saying. So shots fired at everybody. But
no, they left.
Honestly, that tracks. Have you ever seen those movies? The movies for have you ever seen the movies for Stargate? Not great. Not great.
I've seen everything Stargate.
That original movie was great.
I'm not talking about the James Spader one. I'm talking about like the movies for the sequels, TV sequels.
But we make sure to exclude that movie if you're going to denigrate, because I've never seen any of the other Stargate whatevers, but that movie was great.
Okay,
it's got Kurt Russell in it.
I'll grant you that.
I have seen all those movies, yes, and they were perfectly good / great for the constraints they had. They were pretty constrained, right? They were trying to wrap up and canceled show.
Been needing to do a Stargate rewatch anyway. Now I'm trying to figure out if I can convince my wife to drop Buffy again and switch over. So, do they have a release date yet?
No, I don't. Nothing I can say with certainty, at least. But it's gonna be great. It's Stargate coming back. There's gonna be cameos. It's the original showrunners. It's great. I'm so excited. It's my favorite, my favorite sci-fi show of all. Maybe my favorite show of all time. Certainly the show I've watched the most.
I mean, I remember it being fun, and I've been seeing some clips lately because they've been relevant memes and that sort of thing. But yeah, like I started to leave it behind too much before the starship showed up, which is kind of a bummer. And I realized that was a missed opportunity and completely abandoned it when the Ori showed up, more or less. So it was like,
the way
once they weren't fighting the Ghoul anymore.
The way I see it with the Ori is also, if you frame it that way, because that's like how it was supposed to be, but the network didn't want to do it. Is when Richard Dean Anderson went away and they got in a whole new team lead and stuff, they were actually planning to pivot to like a new show called Stargate Command. That's what a lot of it was written for. But then they didn't want to drop Stargate SG-1, the network. So then all this story they had written for Stargate Command became season 9 and 10 of SG-1.
Gotcha. Sure.
So if you see it as like, it's kind of like, don't see it as season 8 and 10 of SG-1. See it as more like Stargate Command, I guess, or then it watches a lot better because it's still great, I think, but it does hurt some of its soul, its charm that Richard Dean Anderson's not there. And it's not the Goa'uld. I mean, but also, for how long can you milk the Goa'uld?
About 7 years. So, plus or minus. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because that's the thing. It's like I don't think Stargate gets enough credit for how much of the show succeeded on special sauce, right? That it's like the universe is cool, but they've never really spent a huge amount of time succeeding there, right? Because even Stargate Universe, like, I'm gonna hurt fans' feelings, but like it got canceled, yes, too soon. Yeah. Congratulations, join everybody else, Firefly fans, etc. But like it didn't succeed, right? Is kind of the point. And like Stargate Atlantis succeeded for a while, but possibly because it was able to like bing bong with the main show, right? But I feel like the main cast was just so good in Stargate SG1 that it helped cover up some patches that otherwise would have been, laid bare from from everything else, right? It's like there's just so many little pieces that taking the main cast out of it, for me anyways, was a huge detriment to the show, you know. And the rest of the stories weren't able to like carry it far enough, and the new cast wasn't able to carry it far enough, with such a critical component missing. So it's like having people and having their stories still vitally important to science fiction shows, even though one of the main characters in a science fiction show is the setting and the universe and everything like that. And certainly they're going to need to have some kind of villain. Otherwise, like, I mean, in my opinion, that's kind of one of the things for Stargate Universe. It's like, cool, we're stuck on a ship and we're being launched outside of the galaxy. And exactly how many episodes can you milk that before something has to happen? Right? And so it's like, I get you as a concept, but like you do got to run into something, and you can't just be like, well, this ship is basically going to fly to the next galaxy over for the next 100 million years. Okay, guys, like you got some story gap that you got to fill in there, and the personal drama carried it so far,
I think that the first season, maybe even first 1.5 season of Universe suffered with some of the things you're bringing up there, and it also suffered from trying to be Battlestar Galactica, like they were trying to be that show,
the next gritty sci-fi.
They started to hit a stride that especially they were also starting to bring in a more overarching villain towards the end of season 2. The last half of season 2 was quite good. And that's why people were more like, if they had canceled it after season 1, even I, as an extremely diehard Stargate fan, would have been like, you know what, I get it. But the end of season 2 really redeemed the show, which is also like, it's gonna be pretty cool that this new venture into the Stargate universe will be a continuation. It's not a reboot. It's gonna continue. So that's
they
gonna be great.
They are doing Stargate Universe and just kind of continuing the story.
They're not starting at start. I mean, I don't know where they're doing, but it's gonna be, time has passed. Presumably they're because since Stargate was kind of
the same universe, is what you're saying.
It's the same universe, same Stargate universe, like SG1, Atlantis, the show universe, and they continue. I would assume, they have not said, but I would assume, since Stargate was mostly in real time with when it was coming out, so it was 1997 when the first season, contemporary. They're gonna X amount of years. What is it? 14 years since the last show aired. So it's gonna be It's gonna pick up 14 years later. They said they wanted to be approachable for people who don't know Stargate, of course, because they need to hit an audience. That's not just the old audience, but also make it very recognizable for people who are fans of the shows as they were. So yeah.
Well, it sounds promising for sure. I mean, 14 years is a long time to be able to build more of those starships. So yeah, exactly.
They know the right things to say.
And presumably they'll have enough money from Amazon, potentially.
So. That's the great part. Maybe I think they're going to have a pretty
ends Rings of Power. They'll have even more.
Yeah, right.
No,
everybody's like, look, I'm not greedy. If I could have 10% of their budget,
I think one of the advantages here with the Stargate property is that it really fits in the sweet spot still of a lot of very mainstream popular shows, kind of sci-fi fantasy shows with it's got a little bit of a military flavor, but mostly it's kind of goofy fun, which is the recipe that makes stuff like The Mummy and the better parts of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so it's a comfort place for a lot of media. I think what held back Rings of Power probably was that the kind of writing was unfamiliar, and the kind of genre that it really should have been to be Tolkien is so distinctive.
Don't kill him. Just let him have his thoughts. It's okay.
Don't you think?
I haven't said anything yet.
No.
I'm just saying, Stargate is silly fun. Would you agree?
So,
sure.
I know how lenses work, and she was starting to focus her laser vision and where Ben's face was. So,
you know,
you're not that far. What
I'm saying is, it's comfort food. It's not trying to be high drama. It's not trying to be some distinctive flavor. Stargate is a pretty generic franchise.
All of the things that you say on Stargate, flavor. That's fine. No complaint on the thing. I don't care. If you're going to start a conversation about Rings of Power, we might need to put that on a schedule. How's that?
Okay, fair enough.
Lord knows I can only give you 25 minutes today. So,
in terms of what you said with Stargate, yes and no. It's definitely more, or was Atlantis and SG-1. Well, it was more lighthearted, more fun, more campy, I guess is a way to say it. But there was also very more philosophical episodes. There was episodes that was much like moral towards the humor. There was some that was very tragic and as classic sci-fi. It's exploring deep subjects and going to a forest in Canada. How many times can you do that in 10 seasons and have it look different? It's a bit of a in-joke.
Yeah, which is going to be great. Getting my wife to watch Stargate by telling her, "Don't you like trees? You like trees." It didn't work. She wasn't fooled.
There's a lot of trees.
There were a lot of trees. It's true.
Which, this was one of the things they brought up, where they were like, technology has come so far. There's all these things that they used to envision that they couldn't really do, especially with the kind of budgets they had, that they now can do, which would be super cool. It's just, I'm so excited to see, since it's a continuation. We left off with humans, for the people who know Stargate, becoming the fifth race, which is essentially there was 4 major races in the universe, in our galaxy, that was like very, very advanced, and we had now become the 5th race because we had learned a lot of the technology that they had, and see where we go from there.
Asgardians and Ancients, right?
Asgardians, Ancients, Furlings, and which we've never seen, and the Nox. The Nox being the, if you remember, those nature-loving guys who could go invisible, and we see that towards the end of that episode, we see they're actually super, super advanced. They have like a floating city above that forest. And we see them one more time have like a little bit of a council like role later, from what I remember. But they were like one of the 4 races of super advanced races. Tolan was also very advanced, but not advanced enough, and sadly got destroyed. I'm just so excited about this show, this world coming back.
It's a fun universe, and yeah, I think I mentioned I've needed a rewatch for a while anyway, so I'll have to find some time to make that happen.
Yeah. See if Aquaman will reprise his role just for a cameo, or if he's too famous now.
Right, hey, he was the worst part of that show.
Oh, come on!
Come on, he was great. He was
Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
No, man.
What was wrong with him?
Wooden delivery. I mean, he's Jason Momoa. He is. The problem with him was that
But that was perfectly, that fit very well with his character. It was fine. I wouldn't say it was the worst part of. The worst part was, I don't remember his name, the lieutenant who got the wraith stuck on him when that got killed. So it sent in a lot of that wraith juice into him, which made him stronger, but also addicted to it. And so, like, that guy and that character, that whole storyline was not great.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if you ever see
this. It's just the presence of Jason Momoa was more, he's something to look at and do the fight scenes. Not that he had some kind of deep character or that he he executed it well. But I'm not gonna.
Well,
Stargate Atlantis is Stargate Atlantis. That was probably my favorite of the series. This is my first one, right?
You are judging the man against his performance from 20 years ago. How about his performance in the Minecraft movie? Because everybody knows that's his best work.
I have no idea. But
you turned him into a cackling evil villain. What the hell?
No. Does he have like a great performance in that? You're just joking, right?
I haven't seen it. I don't know what he's if he's being serious.
I mean, I like the movie. It didn't do amazingly well, I guess, but I didn't hate him in the movie.
Didn't it trash a lot of movie theaters? That's what I heard.
Well,
that's all I know about. Okay.
Yeah, one of Utah's claims to fame there too, apparently. But yeah. So.
Thanks, Utah.
We did it again. So. We're getting famous, but for all the wrong reasons the last year or two. So.
Just to prove Bob wrong. Nothing like this ever happens in Utah. No shit. Sorry.
Utah man. Aren't you both Florida man and Utah man?
No.
He is all man.
Neither. I'm going to claim neither mantle, and most Utahns wouldn't be able to claim me, despite my tenure here. Now, I feel like I understand the local fauna, for the most part, but yeah, no. I don't have enough white button-up shirts for starters, so yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say you'd have to get pretty out in the boonies before you got something too crazy related to Florida. And in some ways they are diametrically opposed. I mean, for starters, there is no place in Utah that you're going to be able to get gator nuggets. So, that's just right off the menu right there. And I think that's going to change some things physiologically for some people, So just saying, you grow up eating gator nuggets and
changes you.
Your body's gonna go down a different path than the rest of us. So,
gator. It's like more stringy chicken.
It's like, if you drowned a chicken in a pond for like a month, then and it tastes like fish water. I didn't hate it, but it does have a flavor,
like chicken to me, but it was more stringy.
There you go. Oh.
Hey, no, wait, don't do that. Wanted to see what time it was, and there was a short playing apparently.
Nice.
Yeah. So what else has been happening for you guys? You guys excited about anything?
I have some time off for the holidays. I'm excited about that, but
that is glorious.
My time off is going to be productive. That's been a thing for me lately. So I must spend a huge chunk of it down in the garage fixing things. So yeah.
Fixing things? Anything in particular?
I'm organizing and downsizing and projects is what I mean, not like building something. So yeah.
Okay.
So because we're targeting middle of next year for our next move already. So
oh my God.
It's like, hey, can we not do what we normally do and just wait until like 2 months before and then panic? So yeah.
The amount of moving you do is I have not moved once since we started this show. I hate moving.
Yeah, and I've done 4 or 5 at least. So
wow.
And we did talk about how it's only been 10 years, so
why is that? Just job opportunities switch around?
It depends. I mean, so like I'm pretty sure we were in my first house when we were doing the podcast, and then we moved out of that place because it was just like old and needed some TLC, and the wife didn't want to, start raising our babies there. And so like the next place was wonderful and very easily we could have stayed there forever, but that was the job opportunity that took us to Florida. And then COVID happened. So we moved back and we moved in with friends, and that was a thing. So then we moved away from there. So even though we were only there for a couple months, that counts. And then, the next place was semi an emergency and not that great. And so we upgraded, and then the wife got a new job, and now we live 5 minutes away from that. So, like, very few have been just like on a whim. It's, usually career driven. Like one, like the whole moving back from COVID, that's one that we could objectively say it's like, yeah, maybe we should have just kept the place in Florida, like with hindsight, because that's where we got out of the housing market because housing prices skyrocketed. We had no idea, like that had already just started, but by the time we got back to Utah, like we had no idea. We were just kind of stuck at that point, so but yeah, so that's been a thing. And then this place is too much, for a couple of different reasons. So we're going to find something more manageable, hopefully. That's the idea anyway. So, but we'll see. So, as a result, it's like, we have the household that has, accumulated stuff for 10 plus years, and like just an astronomical amount of stuff. And we finally got out of our like tiny storage unit that was just like, it's over there because it's languishing and we don't need anything in it, which is evidence that we probably don't need anything that was in it. And so like that's a thing where it's like I finally got that closed out just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and got to go through all that stuff and be like, cool, we got it out of the storage place, now what do we do with it? So some of it is my dad's stuff, and so that's where it's going to be a thing where it's like start by organizing it, cataloging it, and then find somebody else to take care of it. Because like while I'm loath to get rid of any of that stuff, like he's got a bunch of like miniatures for war games and models that he made himself and that sort of thing, and it's like that's cool, and they're family heirlooms as far as I'm concerned. But if I don't take care of them one way or another, then when I die, my kids are not going to have the context of this, and then they're going to have to deal with it, and I'm not going to pass that burden on to them. So that's why I'm like probably going to spend some time figuring out what everything looks like, and then find some, of his old gaming buddies and friends and see if they want to take anything, see if my brother wants anything, and hopefully avoid just putting it all in the trash, that sort of thing. Because that's not what I want to do, but that is one of the many options before me, so. And it sucks because like up until COVID, for sure, I was starting to build my own kind of, mass of miniatures and that sort of thing. Like I added a bunch of Star Wars minis on top of all the stuff that he had and everything, because I'm like, I'm a gamer, I'm gonna host games and everything. And then now we're like permanently remote and everything's moved to the digital space. And so I'm like, it's neat as hell, don't get me wrong, but I've got to have space for it. And there's got to be some kind of trade-off where it gets used, and the idea at the time was at least monthly, we'd have our D&D games and whatever. And my dad was using a lot of his stuff as often as weekly because like he was friends with people who ran game shops and stuff. And, he just like, he'd use it for terrain for like Warhammer 40K or Necromunda or something like that. But like, I haven't done anything like that for possibly ever. No, it's been years though. So certainly not since we've been back from Florida. And so it's just like, some of this shit's neat as hell. There's 1 or 2 models somewhere that I'm going to find, and those are going to be special because I'm going to use them. We're starting to get in a weird kind of semi-therapy session, but I'll end with this one. But my dad kit bashed a runabout with an Apache helicopter, I think, and turned it into a fighter for Star Trek back when like DS9 was pretty young and there weren't fighters. Now you can find dozens of examples and that sort of thing, right? So that's one where it's like I'm going to find where that model is because I want to incorporate that in my Star Trek book series somewhere. But other than that, like, a lot of it is just like they're cool to look at, but we're also pretty much in the day of like 3D printers. So if I truly needed something, I could just spin it up, potentially.
If you need something, but that's not the reason to keep something of your dad's stuff that he clearly cherished and it has good memories too. Like,
Yeah.
There's a lot of middle ground, but that takes a lot of effort to figure out what is the appropriate middle ground. But
yeah,
needing
right now the middle ground is we
should get rid of dad stuff.
Yeah, we moved this to and from Florida, and 3 times since then, let alone at least twice before that, probably, and that sort of thing. So it's just like, yeah, it's got to happen. It's got to happen before I'm old and infirm, which that's like
You
right
know
around the
those
corner. So
this is weird. Those like Christmas towns things that people, especially like
sure,
grandparents, probably did. Like, what if you
right,
did a Christmas D&D table thing to use all of
right.
them and see which ones were the great, and like start making
It's
weird memories for your kids, and so they care about them a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that too, because like along those lines, and possibly literally Christmas themed at least, is that I was collecting stuff to reenact the Battle of Hoth. That was one of my contributions to this. So I have from the Whiz Kids D&D miniatures, I have at least 2 of the AT-ATs, which were like $50 brand new at the time. I have at least a snow speeder and a bunch of like the echo based troops and snow troopers and that sort of thing. And I was like, I'm probably not going to spring for all like 5+ AT-ATs and whatever, and a whole wing of, Hoth stuff. But I had seen somebody do it somewhere, and I was like, that's fucking cool as a diorama, which really undersells the scale that you're talking about here. And it's like, I could legit, like, we could just do a slice of the Battle of Hoth as like a convention event. And that was one of the things I worked on for a couple of years. And now I have those miniatures somewhere. And they've just been collecting dust for years, and that's even just my stuff, right? So it's just like, yeah, I mean, I think that idea is cool, but again, that takes space. Like, where do I
Yeah,
find a spare table
yeah,
and just be like, take over even a tabletop's worth of space? So it might work though. I mean, I finally got the kids mostly sold on Star Trek, but through Lower Decks. So that's going to be another tough sell once we get into the actual visceral kinds of Star Trek, where it's just like, wait, what's all this thinking and scanning and meeting life forms nonsense? They didn't do that in Lower Decks versus
Eh,
like they just won't do Star Wars, but maybe that
what?
would get them excited enough.
Clone Wars? Can't you get them in with Clone Wars?
It's I think they do it to tease me as much as anything. And I've watched Clone Wars with my oldest, but he was like 4 or 5. So, that was half his lifetime ago for those still doing math. But yeah, like it just gets to the point where it's like they know that if it's like dad's birthday or it's May 4th or something, like Star Wars is going to be on and they can cry all they want, but it is going to be on, but they won't just like sit down to watch it with me. It's really interesting. They tolerated Star Trek, but then I don't even remember how they got started, but at some point they got started on Lower Decks, but I'm like, I'm not even sure I could get them into Prodigy even though it's also animated. And so it's like it's like a tonal thing, I'm sure, but
I
now we
just want.
also have the problem where it's like Lower Decks is very adult. And so like our 6-year-old is taken to being like, what, you think you can come at me? I'll dance in your blood, because Mariner. So you got to watch
It
out
could
for
be
that.
it could be Futurama. I mean, there's a lot of worse sci-fi animated catchphrases to get.
Then dance in your blood, that one's pretty up there.
Well, I'll make my own birthday with blackjack and hookers.
Yes, which
Okay,
the
so
wife and I do quote, but yeah. So we had
fair enough then. Fair enough.
what was oh yeah, no, today's that I missed because I slept in a little bit was him quoting still also Mariner, but it's like that guy's a big dick or something like that, and I was like I don't doubt that it was in Lower Decks. I just don't remember the episode. And it's like, well, the Yeti stole her shoes and then she called him a big dick. And it was like, yeah, okay, that sounds plausible. And then have a conversation where it was like, mom and dad aren't mad at you, but we really, really need you to not say any of these lines to your classmates in your kindergarten class at school, So that's the standard. That is the entire that's like 80% of the reason why we've taught our kids to not swear and use the adult language and stuff like that is
Yeah.
because we don't want to explain to their very sweet kindergarten teachers why they are saying I'll dance in your blood. So like,
Down with censorship.
What you need is
Down with censorship.
right?
What you need is a kindergarten teacher who's seen Lower Decks.
Yes.
Clearly, right?
His current one probably is not. I don't think the others will have either.
Make
but,
the recommendation. See what happens. If the teacher starts saying, "I'll dance in your blood" to the kids, you know you've won.
Yeah,
and then you lose the
Kitty, don't.
teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm somewhat more
Don't
pragmatic than thinking that somewhere between having zero knowledge and love of Star Trek and then watching Lower Decks that she'll suddenly like, yeah, no, I don't think that'll happen. But
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Well, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't say I'll dance in your blood, and I've seen Lower Decks like 3 times at this rate because now
Well,
when they finish it, they just start it up again. So
Among us here, you're the one who said I'll dance in your blood more often than anyone.
It's true.
So.
As an illustration. Now, one that I do say, even though I haven't said it to the kids yet, is that, blood for the blood god and skulls for the skull throne. I mean, that's coming. So, there's
Warhammer,
still
right?
plenty of blood related things. Yes. Warhammer. So
that's just one of the nerd universes I've never been that much into. So I just it's more
I'm adjacent to it. Yeah, I'm adjacent to it because of my dad. And interestingly, he was a dirty Xeno lover. And so he played Eldar. And so it was fun to pick on the orcs, but we didn't really tangle with the Marines, which is interesting knowing anything about Warhammer these days. But as a result, I picked up some things in passing. And so it's like I can hang out and have conversations with them. And, I know now, I know some of the heroes, and that sort of thing, some of the factions and the Marines and whatever, but I wouldn't say that I'm a Warhammer guy, but it's fun to a point. I like the universe until you get to the fact that it's like everything is a tragedy because the world is so grimdark that it basically has the corner on grimdark, and so it's just like, yeah, no, that's not the parts that I like. The parts that I like is the heroicism right before they get crushed to death. So
yeah, right.
But yeah, so I do like the Space Marines because it's usually like 5 of them against 1 billion other guys, and then they die. But it's and then they die part at the end that it's like, yeah, that part sucks. So
did you play the new Space Marine game that came out? Was it last year?
No, I've got a buddy who's super into it, and we had talked about it and everything. But no, I think he's talking Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looked cool and stuff like that, but yeah, I haven't even played any of the games. So like that's how adjacent I am is like
I mean either. Never played Warhammer. I did collect it when I was a teenager to paint.
Yeah. We did Vermintide, so but that barely counts. But
that's fantasy. It's more fantasy. So it's
exactly.
Not exactly
still
the same
adjacent,
setting,
but
yeah. Like they'll still say blood for the blood god, and you're still talking about corn and whatnot. It's just it's also not the same,
right?
But the Darktide was the 40K version of Vermintide that I never played it. Somebody adjacent to us has played it, and it seems that the gunplay didn't work out as well that it did in Vermintide. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then contrast the fact that like Star Trek is pretty much like, my IP, right? And the hopefulness that is usually presented there. And then there's like Warhammer 40K, and they could not be more opposite, in their, shiny, bright future of the universe. So, but.
Is Star Wars somewhere in between then? It's certainly more grim than Star Trek.
Well, the idea of Star Wars, I think, is that, I mean, it's hopeful. It still is a good versus evil battle, and the good guys are going to win. Prequels notwithstanding, and whatever, or not prequels, the sequels notwithstanding is what I mean, and whatever. So, like, for me, like, I like them both and for different reasons, right? And Star Wars, as much as anything, like a lot of the mysticism does play into it, because while stuff like that exists in Star Trek, it's not the point. It's just a hand-wavy way to have a different philosophical conversation at times. Whereas like in Star Wars, it's like part of the DNA, but then there's like, it's so vast and for so long, and there have been so many creators involved that you get stuff like Rebels, where they're like, most people don't even believe in the Force, even though we've got a Jedi literally on the crew. or people forgot about the Jedi even though they were there saving the galaxy 20 years ago, or you can't literally take a shit in the Star Wars universe without a Skywalker or a Palpatine knowing about it. So there are some problems with the overarching story, but
just give me more
sorry to
Star
pick on
Wars
your
that's not
baby.
related
So
to
yeah,
Skywalker.
I mean, you said you were pretty deep right now. So like, what is it that you are consuming that you are like super excited about with Star Wars? Since we're now at time, have no more time to talk about this.
Whoa, Justin, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
you were just lagging out for a second there. But you're back.
Oh,
One of my the Old Republic mostly, like the game has gotten me. Like I was just like, I just have a little bit of a Star Wars shit. I'll finish some more story in that, and then it's just gone from there. So and now I'm playing story in that. Watching some YouTube videos about Star Wars. I watched all of Vision season 1, which was pretty. A lot of them were pretty good. Episode 2 in Visions might be something you can get your kids to watch. It's
sure.
very kid friendly. Episode 1 in Visions.
Episode 2.
Well, I think he means like part 2, right? Season 2 or whatever.
Season 1, episode 2, because each is a standalone episode, right? They're all individual stories, and episode 2 was very kid friendly. Episode 1 was more grim.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of Visions, but that was another thing that I was like, not really my cup of tea, because I'm like, I don't know why we need all these different flavors of Star Wars, so it really kind of right. And it was like, I mean, artists and cover bands and like, let's have fun and stuff like that. But it was like, a little on the nose to do a bunch of samurai stories, because Star Wars is already a samurai story. And then we had the anime Battle of the Bands Star Wars, and I think that was the one where I was completely like checked out, and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing anymore. Like, I'm not the target audience for this.
That's the one I was thinking your kids might like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the just been going on some of the older Old Republic stuff mostly, and a little bit of watching on Disney. That's why I asked you what you would like, but you just came with the standard, some of the movies. I was hoping you had something else that on there that I could have checked out that I hadn't watched.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, no, yeah, because it's hit or miss. Like some of the expanded universe stuff, like the stuff where they are expanding beyond the movies and whatever, are okay. Really like The Mandalorian, but like most of the rest of it is like, I watch it because it's Star Wars and yay, more of the universe. But that's like, you kind of got to be already a fan, in my opinion, before I'm going to recommend some of it to you. Like,
yeah, I mean, I already love all of Star Wars, right? For good and bad.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't recommend The Acolyte, right? Having gone through some stuff since The Acolyte's come out, is like,
don't rant.
It's fine. It just wasn't that good of a story, right? And so
no, like, exactly. Okay, so I'll just rant real quick. The fact that the whole
you were telling yourself, not me.
Yeah, I was telling myself, not you. Yeah, the whole plot revolving around essentially, I am homesick. All the other things aside, that just was so stupid. And then there was all these other little things like, oh, there's a Sith here. Red lightsaber. That's not good. We haven't seen the Sith for millennia. Every single person who sees them has to die for it to make sense in the canon. They don't.
Right.
I just many things. I had so much hope because I was so excited about Star Wars that was not related to Skywalkers. Right. And I was like, yes, the High Republic. Okay, it's not Old Republic. They're like, that's too obscure. We're making something here in the High Republic. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I read some of the books. They were pretty decent too. Then the Acolyte came out. That was actually that's when I lost my flair for Star Wars the last time that I just got back now. I watched the whole show there, and I was just like, I was so disappointed by the end.
Well, it's like they took one throwaway line from Qui-Gon Jinn, and then they've suffered the prequel problem, which I've ranted on numerous times, which is, if you're going to take a show and put it in front of a different show that fans already love, you gotta follow the timeline in some way, shape, or form. So, like you said, oh, we ran into the Sith that nobody knows who they are and what they are, and Yoda is very clearly canonically said, we haven't seen Sith in blah blah blah.
No.
And
I don't remember his name. But it's another character who says it on the council, who's in the acolyte, by the way, for some fucking reason, even though he was not born.
Kiadi Mundi, then.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, right. So, all of that stuff, right? Prequels. Very challenging. Not universally bad, but you've got a really big hill to climb up because they have been pretty fucking bad every time. Rings of Power, Enterprise, The Acolyte, every single fucking PI where somebody is like, oh, what if we put this beforehand? Discovery, the first 2.5 seasons at a minimum, right? What the fuck, guys? If you're going to make them contemporary with heroes that have been around for 60 years or more, you got to follow the timelines in some way. You got to honor that shit that is out there, or the existing fans are going to drag you, and you deserve it. Just saying.
Just go further back so you don't have to worry about it. Just tell a new story and set further back. Go to the Old Republic. There's so much cool shit there you could do. There's so much you can take inspiration from.
And ironically, on the Star Trek side, I said the opposite, right? Go into the future and tell a new story. And they finally got that hint in season 3 of Discovery and went so far into the future. They still sucked it up in different ways, but at least they were sufficiently off onto a different canvas that they could make their own decisions.
Don't give them ideas. They'll just fuck it up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem was, like, what if there is a fuel source that everybody in the galaxy uses and then it all exploded simultaneously? Because again, J.J. Abrams has taught us that's how physics works, right? So, like, guys, no. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to tell a Star Trek story, you got to at least have a passing relationship with physics, okay? Because there's not, like, magic exists there, great, that's fine, but like somebody has to be manipulating it, right? So, like, unless you want to come out and say, oh yeah, Q just wished away all the dilithium or something, which isn't what happened, then you got to have a passing relationship with physics. Like, so sorry.
Lithium crystals were Star Wars. Whatever. Nope.
Nope. Kyber crystals, if you need a crystal from Star Wars, that's an easy one, but that's also trouble these days. So yeah.
Okay, I'm just backing away. Yeah. This is the Simpsons going into the grass.
This is not your domain, Alex. So what Justin said there.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Andreas, take us out.
Speaking of domains, if you want to go to a good domain, go to patreon.com/brokenjars or brokenjars.xyz, and you can support us. If you support us, you get access to our Discord. That's via Patreon. You can leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and you can catch us live every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, except when we're not live at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's Sunday, probably.